Hey there, lovely people. Welcome to Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky, your go-to hangout for all things spiritual, subconscious, and downright magical. We're here to sprinkle a little mystical wisdom into your everyday life and help you level up your reality.
Picture this as your cosmic coffee date, where we chat about the unseen world, blend in some psychology vibes and stir up the subconscious magic. Get ready to be the queen of your own reality, live a life that lights you up and have a blast doing it.
So grab your latte or your tea and let's dive into another episode of Be Your Best You, where the mystical meets the mundane and your best life awaits.
Cheers to creating magic together.
Let's do this. Hello!
Hi!
Welcome back to another episode of Be Your Best You with Tash.
I'm Becky.
How are we all today? We have an exciting one today.
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to this episode.
Me too, because I'm still learning about it.
And also, I just want to pre-state this now.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in this in the slightest. I'm just a massive fan. I've used it, and the whole point we did this of doing this podcast is because we want to share through our experiences with others the things that have helped us to grow, to understand ourselves, to embrace our spirituality, to embrace the unseen world and our our spiritual expansive limitless potential. And this topic, this subject, it's huge, has definitely been key later on in my journey, I have to say, because I didn't find it until probably, was it last year, maybe?
Yeah, it's recent,
maybe,
isn't it?
Yeah. It was last year. It came into my world a couple of years ago and left quite quickly because I didn't really understand it. It wasn't on my radar, potentially wasn't ready for it. And then it came back in, and at that time I kind of followed the nudges, and then I really got into it, and that's when it really kind of helped me take a huge step forward in understanding myself. So without further ado, we are talking about human design today. Our plan is to get guests on the show very, very soon. We're coming up with it. We've already got some guests that we've got lined up in the pipe work for season 2. And I definitely want to bring in a human design expert to talk as a guest. Because today, the plan is to introduce you to human design, to what it is. You might not even have a clue of what it is. So if you haven't, this is kind of an introduction to it, and to tell you how it can actually help you in practical terms in your lives and for yourselves, with the hope that you can then go out and actually research it for yourself, find people who are genuinely experts in human design, and then you can kind of go from there. So this is almost an introduction and opening your awareness to it, and letting you know what an incredible difference it can make in your journey of understanding yourself and your spiritual journey as well.
Because it's not something you really hear bounded around. I mean, you were the only person that I've heard about human design
I
from.
think it's definitely got more popular in the last year or so, because that, like I said, the first time it came into my awareness, it wasn't around so much. It's definitely upped its popularity, more of a buzzword now. But if you go onto Instagram and just search human design, there's loads of people who are specifically doing that, and it's so fascinating. So let's talk about actually what it is briefly, without obviously, again, like I said, knowing that I am not an expert in it. But effectively, what it is human design is a culmination of lots of different modalities from the age is gone, basically. So it's a mixture of astrology, I Ching, what's the other stuff? This is the thing.
Numerology.
I think numerology comes into it. Birth charts. There's a whole load of stuff that it encompasses, and I think what happened was it was some one man, I think, had kind of this download of how to put all of these modalities that have been around for eons, like ancient modalities, and put them all together to form this profile of a human, basically.
Right.
Your human design. So how you have been designed to be in this particular life, in this particular incarnation. So in order to find out your human design, you just need to know your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth.
Yeah.
I believe that's the only thing you need to put in.
And your name.
In your name, yeah. Although, yes, because yes, so this is something I'm not sure, because obviously in numerology, your name has a bearing. It has a particular vibration because of the numbers. I'm not sure whether human design uses that or not.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. My thinking is no, because you don't have to put your middle name in, and obviously your middle name classes. I'm not sure, but either way, it gives you a precise design of where you came in at the exact time that you came in, based on all the kind of alignments of the planets, the stars, the energies. I think there's there's all sorts of stuff at play, and there's 5 types.
Right.
There's 5 human design types, so you will be one of them. There is the manifesting generator, the generator, the manifester, the projector, and the reflector.
Right.
And you will be one of those 5. You can go, if you type in human design, don't do it now, do it after the episode. But if you type in human design on Google, you'll be able to, it will come up, it'll be flooded, and you can get a free report. Usually you can get a free report from whoever you're going to get it from. And it will give you certain bits of information. It will give you your human design, kind of, you get a diagram with all these numbers.
I
and
didn't
all
understand
these
the
things.
diagram.
No, this is what I'm saying. It is a real, you have to know what you're talking about. I think there's like this book that you have to read, and it is thick, War and Peace type thickness. And so it's not something that you can just dabble in. If you want to have it done properly, go see someone, get a proper report done, because the free report is great, because it will tell you whether you're which design you are, and it will give you some other information which you probably won't really understand.
No, I don't.
No, there's a report that I found, because I've done plenty of them, and I never really understood what they were telling me. And then I found this one particular person, and I will leave the details, please remind me to put them in there, but I will leave the details in the show notes, because I found that her report is the easiest to understand in the simplest language, because I think it can be, the language of human design can be quite difficult to interpret sometimes, whereas what this girl's done is she obviously knows her stuff, and she's made it really, really relatable and really easy to understand. And it was when I got her report that I was just like, oh my gosh, this actually makes sense. So though I was building up to it and I was starting to understand through the bits and pieces I gained, hers was awesome. So I will leave her details in the show notes, and you can get her free report from there. But I actually paid for the full report, and it's like, I don't know, 90 pages worth of everything about you. So basically, once you've got your human design, even just understanding which of the 5 designs you are, really, really helps understand you, like who you are truly. Now, bearing in mind, human design is telling you who you are truly meant to be, who you came in this world to be. So if we go back to like what we spoke about in our soul contracts episode, and if you haven't listened to that one, definitely go back and listen to that one. We, on that basis, on that premise, we obviously choose where we're going to live, who we're going to be, where we're going to come down in the world, and what gifts and talents we're going to have to be able to do the things that we want to do and achieve and learn in this life. Most importantly, what we want to learn in this life. So human design is effectively showing you why why you chose to be born at the precise time you chose to be born. And I'm talking like the exact minute that you chose to come into this world, because you knew when you were going to come into this world at that specific time, on that specific day, in this specific location, you were harnessing all the energetics that were at play on a huge cosmic universal level. Because let's be honest again, the planets are huge bodies. The stars are huge bodies. Of course they are having a play on us, on who we are. They're having a play on the energies that are happening at this time and at the time you were born. And you came in specifically to harness those particular energies, skills, and gifts. Right? And this is where I love the spirituality and the psychology, and I will talk about it all day, how they are such a perfect blend. So you chose to come in at that specific time to be that specific human design with all your traits. Now, bear in mind as well, I should say, even though there's 5 traits, so I'm a manifesting generator, you're a projector, right? But then you could have another manifesting generator and another projector sat next to us, and they could be so different from us as well, because you have all kinds of other things at play as well. You know that diagram, and it's basically the diagram. It looks a little bit like chakras, but then there's extra ones. Then you have what you call their centers, basically, and they can be open or closed. So you could be a projector with certain centers open and closed, but another projector could be sat by you and have different ones open and closed. And that's going to make her different to you. Then we have what we call lines. And so you'll basically get numbers. I don't know what your numbers are. I'm a 3, 5. And so and I think it goes up to 6. So you can have any combination of those numbers, which will also affect your personality. You see, so one manifesting generator is not the same as another. There are so many variables, which shows you how we are all so different, and we have our own skills, and we can be the same in some ways, but then we can be completely different in other ways. And we have chosen to have those skills. And that is what we came in with, because we wanted those skills, because we got something to do, we got something to achieve, we got something to learn, and we need those specific skills, right? So that's what we came in with. That's what we chose. And then that's the spiritual side of things. Let's flip over to the psychology side of things, the stuff that I do in my work on an everyday basis. You start living. Things start happening to you, and when you're like wherever you are, choosing like what you want to do in your life and who you're going to be, you're like, oh yes, this is going to be exciting, I'm going to come in with this, and then bam, you get onto earth and life hits you and like childhood happens, and you start getting that programming that we talk about, those subconscious programming, and that programming stops you, prevents you from being who you came in designed to be. And depending on how strong your programming is and what happens to you and what kind of programs you pick up, potentially some of those original qualities will stay with you, but some will be hidden. So don't be fooled. When you read your human design report and it's saying you are designed to do this, and you're like, well, that's not me at all. That's exciting, because that is showing you what work you've got to do. And this is why human design was so empowering and exciting for me, because I remember the first time, and this is probably why, and this is why I'm saying this right now to you guys, please listen, please take note. I think this is why, and by the way, this is my 3 in my design, is that I learn by trial and error, and I'm here to make mistakes so that I can show other people to not do it that way and do it a different way. So I am meant to make mistakes. That's horrible. Like that, when you read that, you're like, what? No. And also, I grew up a perfectionist. I grew up like I can't make mistakes. I can't fail, because I had a fear of failure. So I wasn't embracing my natural human design because of my programming that it's not okay to fail. But I have come here to fail and try again and fail and try again and learn from those failures, so then I can go on and help others so they don't have to do that. That's my job, right? So that being said, the reason that when I said that human design came into my life originally, I read the report and I was like, well, that's not me. You know, sometimes you read like your star sign, you're like, oh yeah, that's me, I'm a Leo. Oh yep. I read that human design report, and so much of it I was like, no, and I put it away because I was like, but actually what it was showing me was, this is who you're supposed to be, and this is where you're not living up to that because of your programming. You know, it's not about blame and like, oh, if you're failing again, it's my programming. And so that would have been if I could have taken it then, that would have been such a great guide for me to say, right, okay, so these are the places that I need to work on.
Yeah.
So then fast forward to a year or so later, when I came back into human design again, I'd had a year's worth of doing the reprogramming work and picking out my limiting beliefs and changing my, and then all of a sudden I looked at my human design report and I was like, oh, yeah, that is me. Oh yeah, that is me. But actually that wouldn't have been me a year ago.
No.
And I could see that more of my true design was coming out, and I could see that it was directly related to the work that I had done on my programming, my subconscious beliefs. And so when there were ones that I couldn't say that I was achieving, I knew I had still done work, because even though it wasn't who I was, I felt in myself that could be me, like I could actually be that. And that showed that I'd really worked on my self-esteem and my self-worth, and that I could, my mindset had changed, that just because I'm not like it now doesn't mean that I can't be. I know I can. I know it's possible. And this is exciting, because now I know I can do the work to become that version of me. And I tell you what, like now on most of my human design, I'm doing most of it, to be honest with you. There's still places, always, it never ends, never ends. And there are still places that I know I need to still get deeper on and work, but actually I can safely say now that all of my I've stepped into my human design, and it feels amazing,
because now you know who you are. Whereas we're so lost, aren't we? We don't know who we are. That's where it's so useful, isn't it?
Yes. And the thing with human design, which I found, was that it's so validating, because the great thing about human design is it's not all, you know, flowers and roses and positivity. It is telling you where your shadows are. It tells you, it shows you both. So it tells you almost like when you're in your design and you're living how you should be, this is what you're doing and this is what it looks like. When you're not living in your design, this is what you're doing. This is your behaviors. This is what it feels like. This is your shadow. And so this is where you need to do the work. And I don't think there's not an awful lot of modalities like that that will give your shadows to you on a plate and say, hey, if this is how you're feeling, you need to do something about that, because that is not what you're designed to be. So for instance, for me, and again, this is where I'm not an expert, so I don't know everything about all the designs. I know quite a bit about manifesting generators, because I am one, and obviously that's, you know, I know a lot about projectors, because Becky's a projector and my daughter's a projector. So the great thing about human design is that it helps you to understand the people that you love and the people around you, so that you can help them. You can build your relationships. You can use people to help you. It's like it's funny, because I've always said you're my muse. Haven't I? I've always said, like, Becky's my muse, like, forever. Like, she inspires me. And I'm the action taker. Like, I'm always the one that's like, obviously you guys have probably realised I'm the talker. I do the talking, because and Becky's like sat there, because a projector is built to be wise. They're the wisdom holders, the ones that lead the rest of us quietly. And I'm a manifesting generator, so I am actually a hybrid of the manifester and the generator. I am built to go and do things, but I am also not meant to initiate things. So I am supposed to wait and respond to where my energy tells me to go. So that, understanding that, being told that was so validating for me. I cannot tell you, because I really struggled to understand who I am, because I was such a contradiction. It makes sense now, knowing that I'm a manifesting generator, because I am a mix of two. So I would always beat myself up, because I'm like, why sometimes am I go and I can make things happen in half the time that anyone else could happen, and I go from 0 to 100 and I have loads of ideas and it's just all action, and then I go to like, I can't do anything. I don't have the energy to do anything. I don't want to do anything. It was something that I beat myself up for. And I'm like, why am I like this? But actually, that's how I've been designed to be. And human design have validated that for me. So, and again, going back to the spirituality side of things, as a manifesting generator, I am designed to listen to my gut feeling, my intuition, and that's how I have to make decisions on the spot like that. I have to feel my energy. That again was really helpful for me because I was trying to, obviously at the same time, over the years, we've spoken about this before, I've been really working on building my intuition in general when we stepped into that kind of the spiritual journey, because it's just so helpful in so many ways. We've spoken about it loads. But the human design helped me to hone how I use my intuition, how I listen to my intuition. So manifesting generators work really well by being given options.
Right.
So if you just said to me, what should we do today? I'd be like, I don't know. Because we're not supposed to use our minds. We're supposed to use our gut.
Right.
So if you said to me, what should we do today? Should we go to the park or should we go shopping? Straight away, I can feel in my gut, I'm being pulled towards the shopping. That's what feels good to me. That's how I am built to make decisions. And so hearing that really, really helped me to trust it, and therefore helped me to really build and listen to my intuition, because I knew what I was looking for, and then I would start using it in my everyday life. So when I realized that, I need options, I used it for, say, my food decisions. I'm trying to be healthy. So instead of thinking, what do I want to eat? I'd have a look and I go, okay, what options have I got? I've got some tuna in there, or I've got some eggs, or I've got some salad. What feels good to me? All of a sudden, I feel myself being pulled to one of them, and I know that that's the right choice for me because I trust that, because it's my gut. Whereas you, a projector, you are built to wait for an invitation, aren't you? So Becky has to wait for people to ask for help. But bear in mind, she is here to give wisdom. So me understanding projectors, I now know that I have to ask you for help. And that's really helpful, because I can go, Bex, what do you think? And then you can give, because that's right to you, because you've been given an invitation, that's when you can offer me the advice. And that is why, again, it validated that feeling I felt of you being my muse. That's why I feel that way. Because you are you give me, you can just say one thing, and I'm like, yes. and then I just go like that.
She does. I see it in real time.
And again, going back to soul contracts, it's no surprise that you chose to be a projector. I chose to be who I am. We're a team. We work that way. We've done that for a reason. This podcast wouldn't work if we didn't have that dynamic, would it? Because again, you'll say one thing and I'll go, that's a great question, let me talk about that. I'm sure, I bet you guys listening now can think about, actually, that is what happens. That makes sense. But you talk about, for example, because again, like I was saying, we're just talking here about manifesting generators and projectors, because I'm not an expert. I can't tell you all about all the other designs. You can go and find that for yourself. But what we want to give here is real life experiences of how this human design can really help you in your life. So do you want to speak about, I'm offering you an invite, to speak about what it feels like to be a projector and offering help when you feel like it's being asked for versus not?
To be honest, that's one thing I have always been true to. That was one of the things that I think, that's me. I am not built to just offer advice and jump in. I always wait for permission. And I guess that has worked for me, because I've stayed, that's where I haven't been conditioned to be anything else other than that. So that was one of the good things, that I could recognise myself. Some things I still can't recognise in there. Like one is like this whole leadership thing, to be a leader, and I know, like you would tell me, there's so many different ways to be a leader. Like you've just said, just me sitting here going, and what about, that inspires you. And that's really hard to understand, isn't it? Because it's just, I guess it's the energy, isn't it? And it's hard to understand energy. You can't see it, but it just works, doesn't it? So, yes, I've always waited for permission. I don't know an awful lot about it. I think you know more about projectors than I do. So what would you say that I'm not doing, do you think, that maybe a projector should be doing?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I don't, for me, you are doing exactly what you're built to do. Like, but we have a really good, healthy relationship, don't we?
Yeah.
So for me, you do offer like those nuggets of wisdom. I'm just thinking about when we're on our walk and stuff, and I'll be talking, and then you'll say something, you'll say one thing, and it'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. It's like you trigger something in me, and I think that's your wisdom, that's your innate wisdom, that's what you're here for. But the fact that you are saying you just do it comes naturally to you, it's easy to you, is the exact like reason why, like you said, you are doing what you're designed to be doing, because you're finding it easy, because you don't have to think about it. So what I would say to you is embrace that. Like I said, I embraced my whole feel the energy thing, like go when it feels good to go, and then pull back until I get another sign to go and follow on that. I would say for you, embrace the fact that when you say something and you get back that response from me going, oh my God, you're right. Just be like, of course I am. Because that's what I'm here to do. The more you focus on that and acknowledge that is you being who you're supposed to be, that is you in your wisdom, that is you leading, the more you'll step into that and embrace that potentially in other areas of your life. Because are you doing that with other people? I don't know,
because you tell me these things. Not everyone's gonna be able to put it into words that or you're my muse. I've never been told that before. But now maybe I should just go around thinking I'm everybody's muse.
You are,
and see what happens.
Like
you say, just go for it on those things that are so natural to me to do anyway, and not be thinking, oh, I should have said something, or why didn't I say something? Because actually, when I was reading a little bit yesterday, that's the worst thing we could do, is to speak without being asked, because it isn't received well. So that's interesting, because I've never done it. I don't know what it's like to be going against it like that and the response I would get. But maybe, if you're a projector and you are doing that, and you're not getting good responses from people take offence. That's why, just sit back, wait quietly, because they're going to ask you. That's
perfect. That's exactly right. For you, it's not an issue because you're doing it, but there might be people out there, like you said, who are always feel like they're giving good advice, because you have got good advice, you have the wisdom. So going back to the leader thing, this is where we get into this big shift where things are having to change. Obviously, the world we know is going to poop. But we say that it is, but it's breaking down because these old systems that we have in place are no longer working. So all our like the government, the people in power, it's all breaking down. Whether you look at like Hollywood and the music industry and everything that's going on over there at the moment, the governments, like America and everything that's going, look at us, like it's all crumbling because it's not working. That structure, those people. And I would like to know what their designs are, their human designs are. But those people in power, those leaders at the moment are the leaders that are not going to be going into the future. It cannot continue. That's why it's breaking down. People like you are the leaders. The people that lead quietly, that aren't like really that masculine, heavy, like listen to me, you will listen to me energy. That's how we associate leaders, isn't it? It's like what you said. I don't think of myself as a leader because you're not like the leaders that we've been used to for all these thousands of years, that the world's been in this kind of cycle of this masculine like power leadership. This is where I think the world is heading for, is why everything's breaking down, is because the people like you are going to become the new leaders. And imagine having people like you who are sat there right now saying, I don't know whether I'm a leader because, I don't tell people what to do. I wait to be asked. Like, imagine having that type of leadership. It will be such a different world. And
be interesting to see. I don't know if it'll work.
No, but we're saying that because we don't know, because we're not used to it.
No, we're not.
But okay, there's some people, so I'm built to be a leader as well in my human design. I am a leader, and I think those the leader things as well. I think, I spoke about, you've got your designs, but then you've also got the lines, and so those lines will tell you as well the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right. and how they're kind of placed will also give you those characteristics of being a leader. So you could have projectors that are leaders, and then you can have manifesting generators that are leaders. So think about it. So you're not one to be go and take action, but imagine if both of us imagine guys now we're leading, exactly. but seriously, imagine. So you are leading with your knowledge, with your quiet wisdom, and I am leading with my we've got to get this, we've got to go. But I'm being led by you, like you are giving me your knowledge. Like now that's something, isn't it? All of a sudden, it's not like we're all sat back and nothing's going to happen because everybody's calm and chill like you as a projector. No, you've got the people who are built to do and take action, but they are in touch with themselves, and they also appreciate other people. Again, I think with this whole leadership and stuff at the moment, it's very much for me, isn't it? It's all about this is another thing that's breaking down. Since we're individuals, we're out for ourselves, it's me. Whereas these new people that are coming up and out and like waking up and stepping into their leadership, stepping into who they truly are, their human design, they are about connection. They are about understanding that we are all in it together, and we can use each other to be the best for ourselves and for everyone. Like I've always said, haven't I, this podcast would be nothing without you. I need you. Like I need you, don't leave me. But nice, I appreciate that. I appreciate you and how you make me better. And the same as I like to see that with everybody. I'm not looking at other people anymore because in the past, yes, I think I was out. Like it not because I was being, a horrible person, but it was very much the view of the world, very much like, oh my God, I've got to look after myself. I have to do me. We're all separate, we're all individuals. But since going through this journey, like the spiritual journey, the self-development journey, finding human design and all that, I realised that we're better together. And we've always said why we wanted to do the podcast as well is we wanted to create community, didn't we? Because we're feeling that kind of like pull towards just groups and help, going back to how it used to be where we would all have our place in the community, and you'd have the shaman and you'd have the mothers and the carers, you'd have the hunters, and we all had our own job and nobody was more important than anybody else. We all needed each other to survive and we relied on each other to survive. Whereas we lost that now, haven't we? But I feel like it's coming back.
I do.
And I know that I've gone on one of my tangents again, but that's how I see the world changing. That is how I see, and so
learning how we all fit together.
And stepping into who we truly are, and these new types of leaders, these new types of people who are in power, and I'm putting that in inverted commas for people who aren't watching. It's going to be a different way of living, and this is why it's so important. And why I think human design is so powerful, because it helps you understand who you have come here on this earth to be. If you don't know who you are,
and so
do
many
human
of us,
design.
Honestly, so many of us don't know. You don't know where to start, do you?
No.
If anything, it gives you, like, even with because I've just got the free one. Even knowing that, because then you can go onto channels, can't you, on Instagram and find out more about, say, what I am, a projector, and you can start to, it really helps you to do that work, doesn't it? Just knowing what you are, and it's just so useful. And also living within a family, isn't it? How useful is it to know? I know it's about us, like we said earlier, it's mainly trying to, our own self-development, but it is so useful, isn't it, to know like what your kids are or what your husband is, because like you said earlier with me, you know how to treat me, so you know how to get the best out of me, so then we know how to get the best out of our kids or our husband, or all each other, like you say. It's all about the working together. So I really really want everyone to go and just get that freebie one.
You know everyone is.
Come on.
Everyone listens. I know
Come
some
on.
people listening
Let us
to
know
this
what you are as
will
well.
have already heard of it, because I know that I speak to some of my clients about it as well. But one thing, and I did want to mention, is I feel so passionate about human design, and you know this already, but you know, I want to tell the listeners as well. I do truly feel so passionate about it that I am going to be incorporating it into my programs, into my therapy work. Because again, now this is where I've changed. Before, I would have been like, I need to know everything, I need to learn, I have to have the knowledge to help. Now, coming at it from this whole, like, how can I lean into my energy and who I am supposed to be in my human design and going towards collaboration, I'm like, right, well, I need to find somebody who is good at human design. I don't have to be the expert at human design. I don't have to know everything. No. That's not where my energy is. Do I want to go and learn for human design? No, it doesn't feel aligned to me. Whereas before I had, you know, found human design and been doing all this work, I would have just automatically gone, I need to know about human design. I have to go out and learn it now, despite the fact that my energy was just saying no. And this is why, if I followed it, you'd come up against resistance. If you were doing things that, you know, you're trying really hard and all you're getting is like, you know, failure, or everything's difficult, there's loads of resistance, it's probably because your energy isn't there and you shouldn't be doing that. Let go and follow what feels right, especially if you're a manifesting generator, and also a generator, because they also feel with their, like, the body, isn't it? As well.
It's very important.
And so now I'm like, right, well, the lady that I told you about, that I said I'll put her details in, I'm not linked or affiliated with her or anything, but I am going to reach out to her and see if we can work together in some way, because what I want is, I want to get your human design report as the whole one, like the whole big report, and I will personally go through it and create hypnosis and create your programs around that, to help you step in to your human design profile and really become who you're supposed to be. Like, how amazing. So that's my plan. I'm absolutely going to do that as well.
Amazing if you could do that.
And very soon, because and what I'm actually going to do first is I'm going to go through my human design report, and I am going to create my own hypnosis for my kind of like the shadow parts, because that's what, again, going back to it highlights your shadow. So for me, as a manifesting generator, I am supposed to feel satisfied. Right. Okay. That is when I feel satisfied, that it means I'm in alignment.
Yeah. That is so true for you, isn't it?
100%. Like that comes with your free report. It's called your not self theme. Right. So my not self theme is frustration. Yeah. So if I'm feeling frustrated, I am out of alignment. That there, like I said, you'll get in your report. That, when I first heard it, before I got deeper into it, was a game changer for me. Yeah. Because I was like, right, well, I am feeling, if there was one word that I could tell you that I was feeling that would describe me overall, it was frustrated. I was so frustrated with everything. And I was like, right, okay, well, there you go. I'm out of alignment. Yeah. But also when you say the word satisfaction, that would be how I would say, like, when I feel satisfied about something, whether that is if I've made a nice meal, or if I've done something for work and I've created something and I look at it and I'm like, that feels good. I feel satisfied. It was so, like, how could that be just 2 words? How could they be so kind of affirming and validating? They were. And I believe for generators as well, you're the same. I think it's satisfaction and frustration, I believe. Right. So when I know I'm feeling satisfied, I know that I'm on the right path. If I start feeling frustration in any way, I'm like, whoa, pull back. Right. Where are you not listening to your energy, Tash? You need to get back into alignment. Yeah. And I can't remember what a projector is, what your self themes are, so we can't talk about that. I'm not sure. No. But just like I said, that in itself, I can't even remember where I was going to on that. Oh yes, I was talking about the shadow parts and stuff. That is a game changer. But those shadow parts are great, because in the full report, at least the one that I've got, this is why I liked it, because it's so easy to understand. In the full report, she literally spells out, in your shadow, you are feeling such and such and such and such. You are behaving this way. Da, 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 da. I'm like, oh, yes, I am doing that. So I need to. And so what I can do is so honestly, it's so practically useful for understanding yourself, for helping you connect to your intuition, because you have to connect to your intuition differently to me. I'm in the moment. I'm very gut feeling.
Yes.
I think yours is, again, it's about waiting, isn't it?
Yes, I have to sleep on it.
Yes. We're all different in the way that we use our intuition. So if you're, on your spiritual journey and you're trying to develop your intuition and how to hear it and how to listen to it, God, I wish I had found human design back in the days when I was trying to do that in the early days, because this really, really helps you have a focus. And it's funny because in the early days, I would have said I didn't get a gut feeling.
No,
I would never have explained it as my gut.
No.
But intuition is very hard to understand how you're receiving it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas when you then know, right, okay, so I'm focusing on my gut feeling, you can focus more on that.
Right.
And again, it's like they say a yes, and I wish I'd been told this a few years ago, a yes feels expansive.
Right.
And it's so true. When I wouldn't have known that was a yes, and I couldn't have articulated it until I read it in human design. But when I want to do something, I feel bigger. I can't explain it, but expansion is the right word. I'm like, oh yeah, that feels big, that feels good, I want to go for it. Whereas if I don't want to do something, and that's whether we're talking about something for work, or even something that food, like I don't want to eat, it feels very contracted. It feels very like tight. That's the only way I can describe it. And that's a no for me. And so just being able to identify that, game changer for building your intuition.
Gosh, because it's putting you into you because you're so much about the body and how it's feeling. It was really important for you to get back into your body, because that you're not in tune, are you? You don't feel things like you should really until you start doing the work, and then you realise that was all going on all the time in you, and you could never feel it, could you?
No, I just wasn't aware of it because it's so quiet, isn't it? But now it's so loud for me. And the whole energy thing, again, we always talk about energy. Everything is energy. And I've just found more and more lately that I am seeing the world, everything, doesn't matter what happens, big or small, I am seeing it in terms of energy. And human design is really helpful for that as well, because we are energy. We are all energy. Everything is energetic, like literally everything. Your health, your thoughts, your behaviors, your relationships, your feelings, your emotions, it's all energy. And when we always talk about neutrality, don't we, and trying to be neutral and see things from a perspective. When you can pull it down to energies and energetics, it makes it much, much easier to be able to find and feel that neutrality, and then to take control out of it. And human design again has been very, very helpful in understanding energy of myself. So that whole feeling, like I said, for a manifesting generator, you have to be guided by where your energy is. We are built to pivot. We are not built to stay doing the same thing all the time. Again, something that society has programmed into us, that it's a bad thing to start and stop stuff. Start and stop. And I've got a double whammy, because not only am I a manifesting generator where I'm supposed to start something while the energy's good, and then the energy will wane, and then I have to go and find something else where my energy is, and I pop over like that and pivot. So that's why I'm built anyway. But I'm also a 3 profile, which means that I have to learn by trial and error, and I have to keep failing. So I have a double whammy of that in my design. But everything about my program, my subconscious programming, was telling me that was wrong. And so I had been, like I said, I was like, programmed to be a high achiever, a perfectionist. Do not fail. You're a good girl. You don't make mistakes. Or you stay in the box. And I am actually built to be the complete opposite. I'm built to be a rule breaker, to start and stop things, to follow my energy, to stop when it doesn't feel right, and change. And like you said, society tells you that if you do that, you're a failure. You're never going to achieve anything. Why are you a quitter? Don't be a quitter. I'm built to be a quitter. but to never stop quitting, to keep on quitting, you know, like, and again, that what I cannot explain to you how, I mean, you know what a game changer that was for me to help me step into who I'm truly supposed to be. And that in itself, along with all the work that I was doing subconsciously on, it's like, you know, my fear of failure, and it's okay to not follow the rules, and it's okay to be different. It's really helped me to step into who I am. And that's a completely identity of who I thought I was before I started doing all this work. So I'm saying that to you guys now because you might think, and you have this identity of yourself built up, and you think that that is who you are. And yet at the same time, you're still questioning, who am I? Because I am so unfulfilled. I feel like there's more for me. You know, I'm feeling numb and but I know that I know that there's more. I know I'm meant for more. It's because that is not who you are. That is your programming. And you need to crack into and discover who you truly are inside, who you're designed, who you chose to come here and to be born at that specific time, that specific date, at that specific location. Whether you live there now, you chose to be born wherever you were born so you could have those exact energetic planetary alignments to create who you are supposed to be. And now it's your job to figure out who that is. And human design is a perfect introduction to understanding that. It can help you identify who you're supposed to be. It gives you a goal. And when you read it, it will feel good, even though you might have some kind of like thoughts because it's so opposite to who you think you are now. If you really pay attention and allow yourself to, you will feel something really deep inside you resonate as the truth because you know who you are. And so that human design can help you unlock that. And then the work that I do with the subconscious reprogramming can then help you to actually start unpicking those beliefs that have kept you in your shadow and kept you from being who you've been designed to be. And it will pull you out of that identity you have now and help you to unlock the identity of who you're supposed to be, which is why I just think human design and my programs are just born to be together. And I feel it's going to up level my programs, and I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited for it. In fact, I'm feeling the energy, I'm feeling the expansion, and I feel like I need to go and do something about it right now. And this is how I work. Exactly, we got to go, guys. But listen, please come over to our Facebook group. The link's in the show notes. If you have questions about human design, put them on the group. I would love to have more of a chat about human design. I really would. And that's why the group is there. We can do lives, we can do Q&As over there. Come over and ask the questions, because if you don't ask, we don't know what people are interested in. But we are here, and you know, me over here with my big old mouth could talk for ages, and I would just love to give more information, and not just about the human design. Whatever questions you have when you listen to our podcast, please put them on the group, because you can guarantee if you're asking them, it's probably other people are going to be thinking those same questions. So you're going to help others. Yes. Talking about that whole, like, let's think about all of us as a collective and helping each other. You will help others as well. And you might push someone else to ask a question, which might actually help you in turn. Yes. So come on over to our Facebook group. Use us. Talk to us, and if you've got anything else to say, my muse?
I think I'm just going to sit here and look pretty at you.
Brilliant. I love that. So with that, I know that we are done, and we look forward to speaking to you again next time.
Take care,
guys.
Bye.